my name is Antonio Hernandez. This is my friend
Cody Dalton.
And we are the creators of Anti-Man. I should say we is really Cody is the creator. I kind of come along and jumped in on the idea. Cody came to me and said, hey, I've got this idea, we should make a movie.
Anyway, this is our Kickstarter video. We're coming to you because we need money to make this movie that this man is rambling about.
Got an Anti-Man
Because
we have no money. We have no money, and here I can prove this. Look, right now you think I have boots on, right? No, I have socks. I don't even have the tops of my socks. Why? You know why? I had to sell those so we could buy the camera to shoot this video to ask you for some money. I don't want to be ridiculous. You can't buy a camera for the tops of your socks. You can only rent one for about 10 minutes, so we got to hurry this up, really, because I've done a little bit of my own television and film production, not on a really grand scale. So because of that, Cody had come to me and asked me if I could facilitate the shooting of Anti-Man. My claim to fame is some of the other people I know, my friends who have gone on to great success and often offer me assistance, probably so I don't blackmail them for the things that I know about them in their personal lives. Well, you know, what is the film about? And that's what I guess I'll let him tell you now.
Drugs.
See, like that?
Drugs.
I don't even have to be there. It's about drugs.
I had this friend who was born in Mexico. We were talking about anti-Minutemen, Minutemen, and then anti-Minutemen who hunt Minutemen. And it all spawned from there. I guess there's a degree of separation from most borderland films because from the characters who are encompassed in it aren't necessarily, it's not about a bunch of border patrol guys, it's not about a bunch of cops. Whenever I started writing it, it just sort of culminated the way it did. The Borderland issue was sort of the first thing that had popped into my head about everything. I thought it would be really cool if a couple of kids' friends got killed and there were these anti-Minutemen out there hunting down Minutemen. They sort of go out and do it. I had it on a much grander scale. It was going to be more like a caper thing, you know, they formed this league of anti-Minutemen. So I had a heroin scene written up where this guy's selling one of the friends heroin. He starts telling this Vietnam story. That became like a very pivotal centerpiece for the entire film, was that Vietnam story. And originally it was a buddy film. It was about buddies going out and locking arms. The depths that can take you to, even though you're going out for a noble cause, you know. And if one of those certain friends had just like said no along the way, none of them would have done it. They wouldn't have gone out unless they were locked together going out like that. And sometimes that's a dangerous thing, getting hope, inspiration, motivation from those areas so pure, like friendship and love, to go out and commit such heinous things. Whenever the idea of making one of the characters a female came about, Lynn was the first one that just made sense, period. There was, I don't know if the word is like dichotomy, but I could use trichotomy between the characters, because there's Guy on the far left, a little wuss, kind of, just push around. There's James on the far right, who's gung-ho, take hold, and then there's Lynn, who is in the center. There's those two males, but then that positive female force right in the center. After Anti-Minute, we hope that everyone can see that we are capable of putting together a project and making it entertaining. Later on, this will lead into Sidwell, which we've already tied in some story elements to sort of give this as a precursor to that entire saga story existing in this Las Cruces area, this wasteland. After that, just more and more and more and more and more, until you can't stop watching debauchery and drug use, because that's all that's on television.
Cody Dalton came to me about the Anti-Minute project. Actually, we were working on a project that he had also conceived called Sidwell. Sidwell was a story of this kind of down-and-out kid. He ends up a drug kingpin, and he does it, and he does it exceedingly well. We wanted to look at things and say that, you know, here's the story, here are the circumstances, here are the choices this character made. This is the result, you know, here's what he sowed, this is what he reaped. And let the audience make their own decision about right and wrong. And that comes very much from Native American and storytelling tradition, where, you know, these culturally, they would teach their children by telling them stories that illustrated the negative consequences of an action, and then allow the children to discern for themselves, to, you know, actually, you know, find an ontological process where they, you know, decided, you know, the moral imperative. And I love that concept, and we worked real hard to get the Sidwell project off the ground, but it's a big project. And my experience in filmmaking is really limited to documentary production, television production. And this Anti-Minute project is our effort to display what we can do, what our ability to present theatrically viable or commercially viable film, these uniquely Southwestern flavored stories, the stories of Lost Cruces, this wasteland. We're not trying to point out or target any organization. A lot of people think that this is an anti-militia film or anti-Minuteman militia film, and although the film does deal with that negativity, that perspective, in no way are we condemnatory. We're actually trying to take a very unbiased, almost a journalistic view. Our overall desire was to somehow present that bigger picture, provide that degree of separation.
So I'm really excited about working with this young crew of filmmakers here in southern New Mexico. This is sort of probably the last place you'd expect to find a crew of upcoming filmmakers, but there's some really unique talent down here. I'm working with Cody, and I'm going to be working with Red, and we're looking forward to putting together this project. So Anti-Minute, it's a film ostensibly about some young people who are caught up in the drug culture, who kind of get in over their head, but it has a larger message, and it's looking at racism. It's looking at crime and punishment in America. It's looking at sort of the absurdity of life in certain parts of the world where most people would never really get an insight to. And so we're looking to bring something different in that direction. We're looking to take Anti-Minute and sort of give you a fresh new take on crime stories here in America. Hollywood has a lot of ideas about how the world is, and they have a tendency to sort of take brushstrokes, broad brushstrokes, and turn them into fodder, really. This is just a first step, really. We're looking at doing a whole series or chronicles of stories that tell the subculture of southern New Mexico and problems that are down here. This is we're 40 minutes from the border. Juarez is just a stone's throw away, and if you're not familiar with Juarez, then it is the murder capital of the world right now. We have a lot of spillover with drugs and gangs, and crime stories happen here that would really, kind of twist your mind. So the big difference between what you may know about Las Cruces and southern New Mexico is probably been presented to you by the mainstream media, and we have an inside track on that. So instead of just being your average border films, we have an opportunity to bring something really uniquely different. We're looking at sort of the surreal side of crime and punishment and life here on the outskirts or edges of America. So we're looking to sort of bring that world to a more broad stream audience, and I think with this particular project we have a real opportunity to do that. Hopefully, as we progress forward with these stories, this Las Cruces Chronicles, we'll be able to bring you a vision of southern New Mexico and of life down here on the border that isn't something you would just find in a generic Hollywood film. So Anti-Minute is a really unique project. It has a flavor to it that I think you're going to find very different and original. It's kind of like those microloans kind of situation where, because we're down here, we can take a little bit and do an incredible amount with it. So we're hoping that folks that are watching this will say, hey, here's an opportunity for me to get in early on a group of talented young people, invest in them, and invest in this project.